Livewire's rough-in procedures, conduit, and central vacuum. In addition to installing the cables and structured media center during the rough-in process, you may also have to install conduit and a central vacuum system. Let's look at conduit first. Oftentimes you will find that the builder has already installed conduit when you show up for a rough-in. However, there are times when you will be responsible for installing the conduit. Conduit is installed to help make running cables easier after drywall has been installed. You will often see it running from over a fireplace to another location in the room or under the house. This way, if the homeowner wishes to put equipment like a TV over the fireplace, it's ready to have the cables run from there to the rest of the equipment in another part of the room or a central rack. Just as you saw in the other rough-in video, you will want to use the plan to determine where wall plates will be. For each wall plate location, you will need to install a mud ring. As you can see here, a mud ring has been installed above the fireplace, where the conduit will start. If the conduit is run to another location within the room, a wall plate will need to be installed there as well. Make sure when you run the conduit, you have as few bends as possible. Keep the bends less than 90 degrees. This house, where you will see conduit and central vac installed, has a first floor, a second floor, and a crawl space under the house. In our case, we needed to drill a hole in the floor by each piece of conduit we installed to allow future cables to run under the house to a central rack housing all of the audio-video equipment. To drill the hole, the technicians used a 2 9/16 inch Forstner drill bit to drill the hole in the floorboards. To install the conduit, you will want to start at the mud ring you installed above the fireplace and run it along the studs to the mud ring where the future cables will run to, or, as in our case, into the hole leading under the house. To secure the conduit, you will use a Romax staple and a zip tie. Make sure the conduit is secure. You will also need to secure the conduit under the house with a Romax staple and zip tie. Also, you must ensure that a pull string has been run from one end of the conduit to the other. This makes running cables easier. Now let's take a look at installing a central vacuum system. A central vacuum system is designed to remove all the dirt from a house and send it through tubing located in the walls to a receptacle in an out-of-the-way location. Instead of a homeowner having to lug around a vacuum throughout the house, they will just take the hose and attachments and plug it into the inlets around the home to vacuum the entire house. Each inlet and automatic dustpan location will be indicated on the plan. Before drilling and installing the inlets, it's important that you measure first to make sure that each location marked on the plan allows you to run the hose of the vacuum to each part of the house. The vacuum hose is 30 feet long, so you will need to make sure that every part of the house is accessible within 30 feet of a central vac inlet. After confirming that each location will work, install the mounting brackets. Much like installing mud rings, you will nail the mounting brackets into a stud at the location of each inlet. Just as with mud rings, please make sure the height is the same as the electrical outlets nearby. After installing the mounting brackets, you will need to drill holes through the floorboards to run the PVC, the tubing that will carry the debris from each central vac inlet to the collection canister. Before you start drilling, you must make sure you have a plan in place for where each PVC pipe will run. In our case, we needed each PVC pipe to run into the crawl space under the house, where they then will be run into the main trunk to go into the canister and power supply. Our power supply and canister are set to be located in the garage, right next to the crawl space, so that is where we needed the PVC pipes to ultimately lead. After determining the plan for the entire house, the technicians used the 2 9/16 inch Forstner bit to drill the holes in the floorboards for the PVC. You will find that you will need many pieces of PVC pipe as well as various fittings to put this system in place. After drilling the holes, you can attach the fitting and PVC pipe to the mounting brackets you installed earlier. First, make sure the fittings and PVC pipe are the correct length. Then, use PVC cement to secure the fittings and PVC to each other and the bracket. You will continue this throughout the house, both downstairs and upstairs, with all of the inlets having a PVC pipe running from the mounting bracket to the crawl space. You may also have to install an automatic dustpan when doing a central vac system. An automatic dustpan is typically installed under cabinets and allows a homeowner to open and sweep debris into this part of the central vac system. To install an automatic dustpan, you will first need to find the location on the plan. Mark this place and drill down to the crawl space. Again, you can use the 2 9/16 inch Forstner drill bit. The dustpan will attach to a piece of conduit. This gives the builder some flexibility with where the automatic dustpan is ultimately installed. Make sure you leave plenty of conduit out for the builder to move it where he wants. The conduit will go through the hole in the floor and into the crawl space. From there, it will also be connected to the main trunk for the central vac system, leading to the collection bin. After drilling the hole, attach the curved fitting for the automatic dustpan to the conduit by putting it inside the conduit and then tightening the band around the conduit until it is securely fitted to the end. Make sure you also glue this piece to the conduit. Now you can attach the main piece of the automatic dustpan. This is the only piece that does not get glued. Just slip it onto the fitting you just installed. Make sure to also place the bag over the automatic dustpan to protect it until it is installed below the cabinet. Under the house, you will attach the curved fitting with glue and tighten that to the conduit. The only difference is that the curved fitting will then be connected to more PVC pipe to lead to the canister. In the crawl space, starting at the location furthest from the canister location, the technician must piece together the PVC pipes to run from each location into a main trunk that will lead to the canister and power source. In our case, all of these locations must lead to the garage. You must plan ahead and be conscious of the other items installed around the pipes. In addition to fitting the PVC and fittings together, you will need to make sure you glue them in as well. Sometimes you will also need to secure the PVC pipe to a floor joist. Planning, measuring, cutting, gluing, and installing the PVC pipes can be a time-intensive process. Make sure you take your time and measure out and try each piece before gluing it in place. To cut the PVC pipes, you will use the vac pipe cutter. Simply put the cutter on the pipe and turn several times. There is a blade inside that will cut the pipe smoothly. Another thing to consider when running the pipes is how to place the fittings. Always make sure that any curved fitting you place on the pipes has the curve going towards the canister. Everything should be leading towards the location of the power supply and canister. This is why it is best to start at the furthest point away from the canister and work your way there. While the location is marked for the power source and canister and all of the PVC leads to that, the power source and canister are not installed today. Instead, that will be installed and tested during the trim out. The last step in this process is to run the low voltage wiring from each inlet back to the motor. This allows the motor to be turned on and off from each inlet location. The wiring is run in a parallel circuit, also known as daisy chain wiring. Here is a diagram showing you how the wiring would be run between the motor and 3 inlets. The wires connect here on the back of each inlet. Make sure to secure the wires along the PVC pipes with zip ties or electrical tape. That's everything you need to know for installing conduit in a central vac system the Livewire way.